So, friends, in case you thought the Epstein files couldn't get any worse, or you thought that Pam Bondi's cover-up of the Epstein files couldn't get any worse, hold on tight, because here comes some new revelations about an investigation that seemed to disappear right around the time of the beginning of Trump's first term. An investigation of, quote, Jeffrey Epstein and 14 other people for drug trafficking, prostitution, and money laundering. Close quote. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, I just read something that Heather Cox Richardson wrote, the great Heather Cox Richardson. I would urge you to follow her if you don't already. I read something she wrote yesterday about the Epstein files. So let's read some of what Heather wrote, and then let's talk about it. Back on February 23rd, CBS News reported on a newly uncovered document in the Epstein files showing that beginning in December 2010, under the Obama administration, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, was running an investigation of Jeffrey Epstein and 14 other people for drug trafficking, prostitution, and money laundering. The document showed the investigation, called Chain Reaction, was still underway in 2015, not long before the start of Trump's first term, but the investigation disappeared. Although the document suggested that it was a significant investigation and that the government was on the verge of indictments. As soon as the story broke, Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, the top-ranking Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee, said, quote, "It appears Epstein was involved in criminal activity that went beyond pedophilia and sex trafficking, which makes it even more outrageous that Attorney General Pam Bondi is sitting on several million unreleased files." On February 25th, 2 days after the story of the DEA investigation broke, Senator Wyden wrote to Terrence Cole, the administrator of the DEA, noting that, quote, "The fact that Epstein was under investigation by the DOJ's Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force suggests that there was ample evidence indicating that Epstein was engaged in heavy drug trafficking and prostitution as part of cross-border criminal conspiracy. This is incredibly disturbing and raises serious questions as to how this investigation by the DEA was handled." He, Senator Wyden, noted that Epstein and the 14 co-conspirators were never charged for drug trafficking or financial crimes, and wrote, quote, "I am concerned that the DEA and DOJ during the first Trump administration moved to terminate this investigation in order to protect pedophiles." Senator Wyden also noted that the heavy redactions in the document appear to go far beyond anything authorized by the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and that since the document was not classified, there is no reason to withhold an unredacted version of this document from the U.S. Congress. And Senator Wyden asked Director Cole to produce a number of documents. But friends, wait, it gets uglier. Today, this was published yesterday, Senator Wyden sent a letter to Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, Trump's former personal lawyer, saying, quote, "It is my understanding that shortly after I requested an unredacted copy of the document in the Epstein files, the Department of Justice stepped in to prevent DEA from complying with my request. According to a confidential tip received by my staff, DEA Administrator Terry Cole was ready to provide an unredacted copy of the memorandum, but you stepped in to prevent him from doing so. My staff inquired with the DEA about the status of the production of this document, and the DEA responded by directing questions to your office. So, yes, friends, the Epstein files can get worse, seemingly daily, and Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche's cover-up of the Epstein files becomes more egregious and nefarious by the day. And that story that we just read, you don't really need to have that translated from legalese to English, do you? The DEA was investigating Jeffrey Epstein and 14 others for drug trafficking and prostitution and money laundering. The investigation was on the verge of indictments not long before the start of Donald Trump's first term, and then, poof, just disappeared with no one being charged. And when Senator Wyden got wind of it, saw this heavily redacted, improperly redacted DEA report, he demanded an unredacted copy, and the head of the DEA was about to deliver it to him, obviously in compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And when he tried to do it, Todd Blanche swooped in, grabbed it, and concealed it. Wouldn't let Senator Wyden have a copy. I mean, friends, how much dirtier can Donald Trump's DOJ leadership get? You know, maybe I should hesitate to ask that question because I'm sure they will show us how much dirtier they can get. And then it will be our job. It will be our sworn mission to show them how accountability can and will come for them when they fall from power. And they will fall from power. And then, you know, it will be time for us to get our accountability on. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow. So friends, here comes one heck of an Epstein Files update. We know that state law enforcement authorities in New Mexico are now investigating Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch in the state of New Mexico. That is